And welcome to another edition of Tuesdays at Mory. Several guests coming up tonight. First, let's take a look at one of the few highlights in Yale's 17-14 loss at Cornell on Saturday. Gio Christodoulou's 71-yard punt return. And we're back at Mory's, joined by head coach of the Yale Bulldogs, Jack Siedlecki. Coach, what did you say about Saturday's game against Cornell, and how quickly you move on to focus on Holy Cross and the rest of the weeks?
Well, we have a 24-hour rule. You have 24 hours to celebrate when you win. You have 24 hours to feel sorry for yourself when you lose. And then when Sunday, when we get in there for tape, we got to get better. We made a lot of corrections. And then you got to move on to the next team. I mean, that's the way athletics is. I mean, if you worry about last week, you won't get the next one. So we're focused on Holy Cross. We've got, we know we've got to have a completely different offense. We got to play better. I thought our defense played very, very well. I thought our kick game, besides one play, played tremendous. The punting game, I mean, I really thought their punter won them the game. With all the other things that went on, we had 8 possessions from the 20-yard line on back. 11 total. He put us down there 8 times, 6 times inside the 20. So we were more than 80 yards away on 11 possessions, and that's tough for any offense, and we did not perform well, and we turned it over. That is the biggest thing we have to correct. We've been through seasons where we haven't lost 4 fumbles. We've lost 4 fumbles in 2 games, so that's something we absolutely have to address and get squared away.
You mentioned the defense playing well for the second consecutive week. The first week it was more of the turnovers, but I think last week against Cornell was even tougher. Put in some holes and got out of it, and the defense really had nothing to be ashamed of on that day.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 things that happened in the game that you would hope would spark you. One was the punt return. As poorly as we played, it was 14-7. We were within a score. And it's our ball to begin the second half, and then we immediately turn it over at the 6-yard line, give them the ball. But we stopped them. And, they kicked a field goal. So it's, 17-7. And we've got a chance, as poorly as it went. And the first time we went into the 2-minute offense, we dropped the first 3 balls we threw. So we didn't give ourselves a chance. And we still had enough time then. When we got the ball back that last time, it was desperation time. I mean, Ryan went 7 for 9. He got us down the field in about a minute and a half or a minute and 40, whatever it was. Did a tremendous job, but there just wasn't enough time left. And when we didn't get the onside kick, we had no chance.
Holy Cross should be a good test this coming week. They're a very good team this year.
They really, they throw the football. They were picked second. Actually, we're playing 2 of the teams were picked for first and second. The Patriot Fordham was picked first, and Holy Cross second. They've lost 2 close games to 2 great football teams. They lost to UMass 45-42. They lost to Harvard 25-24. Both very disheartening losses, I'm sure, for them because they were brutal ways to lose. They had a 12-man on the field penalty that gave UMass another shot, and UMass kicked a 42-yard field goal to win it with no time left on the clock. The Harvard game, Harvard threw up a desperation pass that actually a kid fell down and caught it at the 2-yard line. And they punched that one in, and they had frustrated Harvard the whole game. It was 17-6 going into the 4th quarter, and then Harvard hit a couple and came back and made it a 25-24 ball game. So they're a really good football team. They got a great quarterback, and he didn't play well against us last year, so he's going to want to redeem himself.
You mentioned Fordham and Holy Cross being picked 1 and 2 in the Patriot League. Well, Yale and Harvard were picked to be tied atop the Ivy League, and both teams lost this past weekend, proving once again that every year we say the league is wide open.
Without a doubt. I mean, the 3 teams that got first-place votes, total records are 2 and 4 right now. Harvard and us are 1 and 1, and Penn's 0 and 2. So Penn hasn't played in the league yet, but it's the type of league we play in, and it's just reality. And that's the thing about the game. If anybody, thinks, what happened up there? What is it? Well, Cornell's a good football team, and they played well. And if you don't give them credit, it's unfair to them because they played a tremendous defensive football game. They put constant pressure on our quarterback. They took away our run game, and they kicked the ball as well as any team we've ever played in terms of how they punted the ball and put us in terrible field position the entire game. And you have to give them credit, and that's just the way this league is. And that's a tough place to go and play, and we've got the next road game up at Dartmouth is the same thing. So we've got to be ready to go. And as I said to the players, I don't think Cornell will go unbeaten in this league. So, you know, we control our own destiny, but that really doesn't mean anything either. We have to win. We got to win this game. Then you got to win the next game. And then you got to win the game after that. You can't be thinking about 8 games in a row or, you know, where are we going to be once we get to Harvard week. That's not how you play this game. It's got to be this week. We got to play Holy Cross and get a win.
Speaking of giving Cornell credit, of course, Yale was the only team their seniors had not beaten. So certainly some added motivation there. I think it showed that they had that. And talking to that, the last question will be about the seniors. We talk about Yale having 35 seniors. Cornell had 33. Have you ever been involved in a game where the two teams had that many seniors combined? That was pretty incredible.
In this day and age, it's unheard of. I mean, if you look across the league, most teams are going to be at the most 22, 23 seniors. Most teams are probably in the teens. To have 2 teams play each other with over 30 seniors on the team is pretty amazing. And I know from Jim's perspective, you know, he was very disappointed in last year's season. He had this great crew of kids who had played, a lot of these guys played as freshmen. And they had a couple of, you know, 4-3 years in the league and really thought they were going to have a great year last year, and it just kind of all fell apart on them. Well, they're back as seniors, and they're ready to go, and it looks like, you know, they're 2-0 for the first time in a long time, and it looks like they're going to battle everybody. So he's got senior leadership. We think we have senior leadership, and that's going to have to come through this week.
All right, Coach, thanks very much.
Thank you.
That's Jack Siedlecki, the head coach of the Yale Bulldogs.